always see how much fiber there is in it. So you basically want relatively high content of fiber and relatively low content of sugars. And plain oats, they basically have no sugars and they also don't have sugars added.
Yes, that's true.
And then you can of course always, if you like that for the taste, just add some fresh fruits.
Yeah.
Well, they do contain sugars, but then it's in an environment with a lot of fiber, and fruits also have other bioactive compounds that are good for health.
Yeah.
So Amar, for simple people like Lakshmi and me, you know, and you are of course the expert of food and diabetes. So how can you explain a summary, very simple, why is it good and healthy to eat oats in the morning related to diabetes and obesity? Why?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah. So first of all, oats are rich in fibers, as I mentioned. So that means that that you have less hunger during the day, and you're not going to eat as much probably. Also means that some of the other compounds, such as sugars and fats, but also cholesterol, are less absorbed. So also reduces your cholesterol levels, which is also a problem with diabetes and cardiovascular health.
Wow.
And you, Amar, you also explained me that if you eat oats in the morning, I do it with white cheese, quark, and with flaxseed oils, which have omega-3, and with flax seeds and some walnuts. So I do a lot of oats in the morning.
Yeah.
And what I noticed is that then if I eat a lot of oats in the morning and I don't have time to eat in the rest of the day, then my energy will be good and high. And you explained me that if you eat oats in the morning, you're not hungry during the day so much, and your blood sugar will be very, very good for the rest of the day, you know? For example, so why is it that if you eat oats in the morning, that your energy level and your energy level is good for the rest of the day, even if you don't eat anything else? What is the secret of the oats and the fibers? Why are oats so healthy to eat them in the morning? For your energy.
Yeah, you don't have to repeat the question all the time, but
Ah,
I think if you say you eat those oats in the morning, you are basically doing two things. The first is that already in the morning you start eating, which is generally a good thing. If you eat a lot in the morning, you have a lot of time to burn those calories again, much more than if you would eat it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We also see that people who eat more, for example, in the morning, are usually more active during the day. Because if you don't eat, then you don't really have the energy to do things, and then you still compensate it with eating later on during the day. So that's one thing. And then in combination with the fibers and basically the carbohydrates that are really slowly digested, that just has a different effect on your body than fast sugars, who give you quick energy, but not for that long. And also those sugars spike not only glucose but also insulin levels. And insulin promotes storage of all kind of energy into fat.
and also, Amar, I was reading, and it's, I think, I have it here somewhere. Uh, you know, these are the oats that I eat a lot. And if you look at the nutrition, it's not only having lots of fibers,
Also some fat.
10% fibers, a lot of proteins, which also help to slow down the metabolism, I
That's
think.
right.
Eh?
No, that's not right.
That's not right. Eh? It's not right, because you are the professor. No, you're the expert. I'm sorry.
No.
But I heard that if you eat a lot of proteins, it's also slowing down the energy metabolism.
It does not slow down.
No?
It doesn't slow down the energy metabolism. What it does is that it gives you a feeling of fullness for longer.
Okay.
And that's also something that fibers do. So
Okay.
oats contain both protein and fiber
And fat.
as well, but
Yes.
indeed.
So the proteins, they work differently than the fibers. They give satisfaction.
Yes, they cause less feelings of hunger, indeed, but they also increase actually they increase your energy expenditure. So it's actually boosts your metabolism to burn more also, because proteins are not efficiently stored like fats and sugars.
Because I see here proteins 14%, fibers 10%, which is very high,
Right.
and then fats 7%. And the good thing is there are very many unsaturated good fats, like 5.7%. So, okay, so you could say that to eat oats in the morning might be a good idea if you don't want, if you want to eat healthy, if you want to prevent diabetes and also many related diseases to diabetes. So, what kind of other chronic diseases are related to diabetes too and the sugar metabolism? You know, you have good and bad sugars. We before in the video we looked at bad sugars. Now we are going later to look at good sugars. But first I want to know how bad is the increase of diabetes and of other chronic diseases, you know, that we have. Like you said before, that about maybe even 10 times more than in 1945. So diabetes and also obesity is very much rising in the rich countries. Eh? It's rising very fast. More diabetes, more chronic disease, more obesity.
No, it has already increased a lot in rich countries, and what we see now is that it's not only increasing in rich countries, but mostly in other countries that are now developing and among young people. So where it used to be mostly elderly developing type 2 diabetes, people are getting it younger at a much younger age now.
So actually it's wrong if you say these countries are developing, well, developing in the wrong way. Eh? Like they eat more meat, they eat more sugar, they drink more Coca-Cola, they drink more light drinks, which are also, you know, not so good. The sugar replacements are not always healthy. So you could say that the lifestyle in the West, if it's now 10 times more, the diabetes and the obesity than maybe in 1945, that's not a good thing. Like, so, and the prediction is, if you look at the statistics of obesity, which is also related to diabetes a lot. How was the obesity in 1945 and how is it now in most Western countries?
So,
or let's say overweight. Let's first do overweight and later go into the morbid obesity.
You're speaking of percentages below 20% to now more than half of the population.
So you could, okay, so you could say that maybe 1945 less than 20% were overweight, and now it's about 50% and more, and probably it will keep increasing in the next 30 years if we don't change our lifestyle.
Yes, that is right, but we see that also with sugar intake, some people are changing, but that is then partly a part of the population.
Okay.
Kind of an elite of the population often.
Yes. You mean the people who read a lot and who are interested in medical science and in health and who want to have a good lifestyle and want to prevent all these chronic diseases like diabetes, obesity, heart disease, cancer, maybe even Alzheimer's. So people who think about what they eat and how they live. This is a small percentage. But most people, in general, the lifestyle is changing in a bad way, you could say.
Yes, that's right, but something we also see is that many, and that's also one of the advices, many people consume foods that are composed by the food industry, and those foods are generally really high in unhealthy fats, salt, and sugar.
Yes.
So we now see that that there is a tendency to also among official organizations to recommend just the real unprocessed foods.
And unprocessed, you mean fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, maybe some seeds and nuts, maybe some good organic eggs, and maybe some good organic yogurt, and maybe some healthy, not polluted fish from very clean waters that are more and more rare because we pollute the water. So basically a healthy food could, and a healthy lifestyle could do a lot. So now I want to switch. No, first I want to know what chronic diseases are related to diabetes 2.
So first of all, one of the strongest links are heart diseases.
Okay.
So because of the damage to the arteries. And in addition to that, you have the Alzheimer's disease, more related to damage to the nervous system. And really important is also the liver diseases, such as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And that is something that is in many cases overlooked. But in many Western countries, 1 in 4, or probably even 1 in 3 people have fatty liver.
Okay, so you have relationship with heart diseases and the arteries. You have a relationship with the liver.
Yes.
You have a relationship with what other diseases?
The brain, I said.
The brain, okay. And what other relationships are there with diabetes 2 and consumption of bad food and bad sugars?
Well, because it is a metabolic disease, you are going to see things all over the body, but I've mentioned a few important ones.
Yeah. Is there a relationship between diabetes 2 and the consumption of bad sugars and cancer?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a relationship between diabetes 2 and the dementia, the Alzheimer? And I'm talking about the vascular and non-vascular dementia, Alzheimer disease. So is there a relationship between consumption of sugars, bad sugars, diabetes 2 and Alzheimer? What do you think?
Well, I already said that, yes.
There is a relationship, okay. So we have diabetes and cancer, diabetes and heart disease, diabetes and brain functions, diabetes and liver, diabetes and cancer. What other chronic diseases? I mean, these are the main ones. That's already, I think, 80% of all the chronic diseases that I just mentioned. Like most of the money goes to these chronic diseases like cancer, heart disease, and Alzheimer, and diabetes in the future, and obesity. This is more than 80% of all the money of our healthcare system, I think. Probably.
There are a lot of money is related also to mental health.
Aha.
And
the brain and mental health. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But we also know that inflammation, and that's related, and often also to unhealthy diet, inflammation can also cause mental health problems in addition to all those metabolic diseases.
Okay. So we have to include the mental problems related to diabetes and to sugars, and then we go to this chronic diseases. Well, they always say chronic diseases is about 80% of all our healthcare system. And this chronic disease happens mostly after we are 50 years old, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90.
But that is what I am explaining. So what we see now is that indeed more people are developing these metabolic diseases, and a part of the population is now aware of it and now prevents that. But we see that people are developing at the younger and younger age. So where people were developing at 75 in the past, it's now probably 20 years younger.
So, because this is happening, this gives a big responsibility to companies who produce food and to governments. You have the healthcare system, you have the health scientists like you who do research into food. But if the politicians and the corporations don't listen to people like you who want more healthy food, and if the food industry does not change their sugars and their fats from unhealthy fats and sugars to healthy fats and sugars and to healthy food, and if the people don't change their lifestyle from bad lifestyle to good lifestyle, then all these chronic diseases will keep increasing, and then the healthcare system will be very expensive. Okay, do you agree with what I just said?
Yes.
So now I want to go into the explanation of the solution. This is all problems, and the problem is big. The diabetes, the chronic disease, the 80% of the healthcare system related to bad lifestyle and bad environment, also bad air and pollution of the ocean. So 80% is related to our lifestyle and the chronic diseases. And we should do something about it. So, and now you are doing research here in the University of Ghent to look what is the bad thing about bad sugars and what is the good thing about good sugars. And the good sugars are, you said, the rare sugars, huh? So can you explain, point one, what are these healthy rare sugars that you are studying? And the second question would be, what do you expect what these healthy sugars could mean for us in the future?
Right. So
first explain what your research is.
Yes.
In Ghent University about rare sugars. Please, sir.
So we work in a multidisciplinary project. And in that project, we all have different roles, and we get all those kinds of rare sugars. And a rare sugar is very similar in structure as the other sugars. So they also have sweet taste, they also have those, many of those characteristics that we like to have from sugars, but they can have different effects on health. often, in many cases, they are just digested more slowly, or they are metabolized differently. But there are also rare sugars that are still quickly digested and are not that healthy. So at this moment,